You ready? Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start this podcast off the same way we start every episode off, with a moment of gratitude. I know that you could be doing a million other things with your time, and the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me, so thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cotton, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
Keith Simpson here from Norrell Toyota. Just a quick chat about the wonderful community we live in here. As you guys know, we support the Oil Barons. We've done the drive-in movie theater. We're involved in the marathon here in Fort McMurray, and make sure we're taking care of the kids and all the local businesses, all the local charities, and all the local foundations, guys. That's what makes this community such an amazing place to live.
And we are back. Big shout out to Norrell Toyota, our title sponsor. Thank you for your ongoing support. We really do appreciate it. On that note, as you know, I don't introduce my guests because they could do a better job at that than myself. So, sir, can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
Sure. My name's Keith Plowman. Longtime resident of Fort McMurray. Love living here. Came here in 2003 for a job.
Okay.
And ended up staying.
Nice.
Making a life here, just like everyone else out there.
That's awesome. So when you came here in 2003, where did you come from and what job did you come for?
I don't know if I even want to say that. So
you don't have to.
No, I'll say it. I moved here from British Columbia.
Okay.
I lived lakefront at a place called Christina Lake.
Okay.
Boat in the water.
Yeah.
Just had a lovely time and ended up moving up here.
Okay.
And to the frozen tundra of the north.
Okay. Well, that's what I like. I'm glad you did say it because me and Tanner, we're both born and raised here. I know where you're from now that you said it. You obviously, like you said, came up here in the early 2000s and are still here. Some people would be like, well, why are you here still? Because you come from somewhere so beautiful with a different type of lifestyle. What about this community has made you want to stick around here?
We love Fort McMurray. Like a lot of other people that come up here, they come up here for work. We've been able to actually build a business here. Okay. Make a really good living. We love the community and are happy to be involved in it.
Yeah. Cool. And you said you have you have a child who shares the same name as mine. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I actually have 5 children.
Five children?
Yeah. I've done my part to keep the population.
Wow. Good for you. Holy camole. What's the age range?
The oldest is 33 down to 19. So now you know why I have all the gray hair.
There you go. There you go. You're done then. 19. Well, you're never done. My parents are still parenting me, but the 19-year-old's about to finish high school?
Finished high school.
Okay. Wow. Congratulations. Oh. That's 5 kids. You don't hear about that very often nowadays, do you?
No.
And were they all born and raised here in Fort McMurray?
Your math.
Oh yeah, my math is horrible. Yeah, 2000s. That's impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah.
33.
Yeah. No. But yeah.
They graduated from high school here in Fort McMurray.
Okay.
They were not born here, but they did attend school here.
Okay. Yeah. Now, when you reached out, like I was telling you when you first got here, I go out of my way not to look up any guests or even read some of the messages that people send. But you mentioned something about politics, and I don't know if you're running or I don't know. So what was that topic all about?
So basically I'm running for the nomination to be the MLA for Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo region, which is sort of the north half of Thickwood Boulevard all the way up to Fort McKay and Fort Chip.
Okay. And so if you've watched the show before or anybody else has, I ask this to everybody who gets into politics. So I got to ask, the big question is why? In this day and age, with all of the social media and the backlash and you're under the microscope. Yeah. And especially with pandemic coming out of it. And we talked a little bit about pendulum in regards to left to right and what society's like. Why would anybody sign up for this?
Yeah, that's a good question. And actually I've had a lot of friends what are you doing? Mm-hmm. You have a successful business. Why do you want to even be involved in this?
Right.
I guess in the last few years, becoming quite concerned just with a trend that I'm sort of seeing in politics that I didn't really like.
Okay.
It seems like it's sort of a top-down approach. You look at the federal government, the provincial government, it seems like the government comes up with an idea of how they want things to be.
Right.
And they disseminate that through the MPs or the MLAs to the people.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I think that's ass backwards.
Yeah.
I think when I think about politics, the way that it should work is you have a representative for each area. The people give that person their mandate.
Yeah.
That person takes that mandate to the Legislative Assembly. Then the Legislative Assembly looks at it and says, is this good? Is this bad? Should we do this or whatever?
Right.
But it hasn't been working that way.
Right.
So I look at it, I think it was Gandhi that said, be the change that you want to see. So I decided to get involved and, throw my name in the hat.
Okay.
And see if we can change sort of the way that we do politics to more of a bottom-up approach rather than a top-down approach.
Right. So as far as politics, have you been in politics before? Or have you helped with parties before? What's the background that you have?
Yeah. So my political experience, I've been on boards for the United Conservative Party.
Right.
I'm a businessman. I'm not a politician at all. In fact, some would say I don't really know what I'm doing.
That's all right.
I've thought about that. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah.
One of my campaign slogans was going to be, I would vote for me.
Okay. All right.
So, and by that, I mean, I want to be the kind of candidate that I would vote for.
Right. Right.
So when I look
awesome.
at my background in the business, that I've been able to build here.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't have any ties necessarily one way or the other or whatever, I think that's actually an advantage for me coming from, I'm not a career politician. This isn't my career.
Right.
If people like what I have to say and they want to vote for me, then, I'm going to make this work and work for the people here. Yeah. And if they don't, I guess I go back to my other job.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Very interesting. I don't think that's a horrible thing at all. There's no such thing as bad or good. It's when I was younger and I used to start working for different organizations, I felt, for me personally, the best component of not knowing is you go in with a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah.
And so then you actually get to look at process and you're just hey, you get asked the dumb question of, why do we do this? Yeah. And then people are able to say oh, well, we've always done it that way. I'm oh, well, what about this other way? You get to look at the process and see and refine it, right?
Kind of what I can offer, a different perspective. We've sort of had 7 years of sort of the same old, and maybe somebody can look at it a different way and see something that wasn't there before.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. So as far as your business, what business do you have?
My business is Plowman Contracting. So it's a contracting company here in Fort McMurray since 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what type, when you say contracting, what kind of work
we do landscaping and just general site.
Are landscaping for residential, or are you doing it for?
We work for builders as well as we've done some work for the municipality and some of the general contractors.
Okay. And out at site or all within?
Mostly within
Fort McMurray. Okay. How did you get into that line of work?
Well, when I moved up here, that's what I did. And then 2011 started my own business here.
Okay. I love it. Why? Why did you, why?
So I did an interview with CBC and they asked me why, why do you do that and what satisfaction do you get out of it?
Yeah.
And I'll share with you the same thing that I told them.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you work in an office or behind the desk or whatever, you don't necessarily, not that you don't see things getting done, but one of the things I really love about what I do is driving around Fort McMurray and being able to see some of the trees I planted or the walls I built or the things that I've done.
Right.
And I look at it and say, you know what? I did that. I had a part in making Fort McMurray look better.
Yeah.
And, it's also a plug for trades and for different things. Not everybody is going to be an engineer or somebody that works in an office. Yeah. Some people can really get satisfaction out of some of those manual labor jobs.
Yeah.
So that's the part I love about it.
Right.
I love being able to go around and say, I really did a good job on that wall, or these trees really look nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I was on a dais, and it was all entrepreneurs. and we had the questions beforehand, which is sometimes nice. But one of the questions is like, if you could go back in time and like tell your past self before you started this company, like any advice, what would it be? And as a joke, I was just like, don't do it. And it got laughs, but then one of the people on the dais got really upset about it. Like, why would you tell all these young people, yada, 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 like that? That's the wrong thing. I'm like, no, I was just joking. Like, I love owning a company and working, but I think a lot of the time people get the wrong idea of like, oh, you're just going to like sit back and you don't have to wake up and you can drink coffee and you make your own. I'm like, yes, all of these things
Doesn't
are
work like that.
like, you do get to make your own schedule, unfortunately, like, but if you don't work, you don't get paid. And like, there's a lot of additional stresses. And if you think like you work a 40-hour work week and you're going to start your own company and you're going to work less, I got bad news for you. Like, you just inherited like a 200-hour work week. And sometimes even if you're working that hard, you still don't get paid. Yeah. So it's when I have people who start their own company, I'm just like, why?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's probably another thing that's going to help me is I like to get things done.
That's right.
So I tell a story. We had a building company, and my father-in-law, he was contemplating his next career move, and he worked at a gas plant. He's like, you know what? I don't know if I'd like to work at the gas plant anymore. Maybe I'm going to, like, I'd like to maybe build some houses.
Right.
So I took that, and the next day I had offers on 2 lots here in Fort McMurray, and we already had house plans picked out.
Okay.
So, when I get something in my head,
yeah,
I just go ahead with it and go for it. So.
And how did that go? Like with him? Like, did he like it?
He told my mother-in-law afterwards, like, I wasn't even sure if I was serious about that yet.
Right.
So I kind of pushed him into it, but he loved it afterwards.
Okay,
it was a good move for him.
Tanner's the same way. I'm like, don't tell me your idea or your dream.
Yeah, make it happen. Yeah.
I'll make it happen. And so with Tanner, every once in a while, he's like, hey, I have an idea about something. I'm like, okay. And then he learned very quickly, I'm going to make you do it.
Yeah.
So he's just like, now he's like really refines what's going to come out of his mouth. Cause he's like, I'm going to say it. And then Elliot's going to like say, okay, go do that work, make it happen.
Make it happen.
Here are all of the, whatever you need. If it's like support for me or additional funds, or like, I might know a guy who can help with this endeavor, but like, this is your dream, not mine. Like, I'm just here to help you facilitate. And so, yeah, be careful with the words that come out of your mouth, cause you might actually get it. So with you running and owning a company, how do you feel that balancing act is going to work?
Well, first we have to win the nomination.
Fair enough.
Then once that happens, sort of have a succession strategy for the business.
Okay.
So I'm going to be phasing out of that aspect of it when I win.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So there is a plan in place for you then. You've actually, that's great, because listen, I'm not throwing shade or any names, but there has been some people that we've spoken to where I'm like, hey, what's your plan after? And they're like, well, we'll see what happens when I get there.
Yeah.
That's a bad plan. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, I have some more questions for you, but before we get there, Tanner has a segment called the Mac City Minute. He's going to ask you some questions. I have no idea what he's going to ask, but before we get there, let's throw to an ad from Carrie at Patchouli Rose. Carrie, take it away.
Hi, it's Carrie with Patchouli Rose Herbal Apothecary. I know our summer is coming quickly to an end. And during the summer, we always think of applying our sunscreen, but sunscreen is a product that we should be using every day of the year to protect our skin against harmful UVA and UVB rays, also against premature aging. I have a product called Dandelion Harvest, which is moisturizing, anti-inflammatory, and is great for anti-aging. You can use this every day of the year, and it's very moisturizing. If you want to check this product and any of my other products out, please go to patchoulirose.com.
All right. Sorry that I had to clear my throat through that ad there, Carrie. But thank you very much. Tanner, hit him with the Mac City Minute.
All righty. First question for you today. What is the best part of moving your family to Fort McMurray when you got here?
I think just the way that people are able to make a living and a decent living in Fort McMurray. So when we moved here, it was, we were struggling, and we've we've actually been able to make quite a good living here and make a life here. We've all been successful. You know, my kids have gone on to university and school. One's a banker, one's a doctor, one's a chef now, one's a psychologist. Like we've done pretty well, and I think in a different place, you know, how do you know those things?
Right.
But I think the fact that we had a good, solid foundation here in Fort McMurray really helped them in their success as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
Question number 2. What is one reason you want to represent Fort McMurray?
I think Fort McMurray gets the shaft. When we look at federal politics, the way Alberta is treated in Confederation, it's like, you know, we provide the funding and we don't really have a say in what happens. When I look at Alberta, Fort McMurray is almost similar to that. Fort McMurray, a big amount of the surplus comes from Fort McMurray. It goes to Edmonton, gets disseminated to different projects in the province. And a lot of that money doesn't come back here. I think Fort McMurray needs a strong voice to make sure that we're at least at the table. We at least have a say. We at least are in consideration for some of that funding coming back up here. I think it's vital. You know, we all complain about the way Alberta's treated in Confederation. You know, I'm taking it a step further and complaining about the way Fort McMurray is treated in Alberta Confederation.
Question number 3. If you could ask any politician, living or dead, one personal question, who would that be and what would you ask?
Who would I ask?
Tanner likes to
That's
stump
a
people.
tough one. Wow.
Well, you think about it, Winston Churchill, and I want to know if he actually had the breakfast that he's kind of famous for having. So supposedly Winston Churchill woke up every day and had a glass of whiskey and a cigar and like pancakes and all this other stuff. But like, I can't imagine starting your day off with a whiskey. Like, that's just...
Yeah, me neither.
So, anyways.
I don't know. Donald Trump, what are you going to do now?
Okay. Love it. Love it.
All right, question number 4. What was your favorite part of working at Dunvegan Gardens?
Dunvegan Gardens, wow. That's really going back in the...
How do you know these things?
You must have searched me up online. Dunvegan Gardens, you know what? I loved the events that Dunvegan Gardens used to have.
Okay.
They really had a real eye for the community. And I know like the Easter egg hunts, the playground down there, having the kids come and see the animals, go through the greenhouse, that was probably my favorite part of that.
And your final question. If your childhood self could control your life for one day, what do you think you would do first?
I'm thinking of something about Jurassic Park. When I was young, I always wanted to be a dinosaur. So
There you go. Good response.
Love it. Those have been your 5 questions.
Tanner, man, I love how you come up with those questions, bro.
Thank you.
Like, I can assure you he did, like, no research prior to starting this show. Like, his questions are thought, like, in live time. So maybe he was doing some stuff as we were talking, but...
I don't really like those quick answer questions.
Right.
Like if someone showed me like an ink blot thing,
Yeah.
they'd be like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
"That's a bird." And
Yeah.
then they show me another one. "What's this?" "Well, that's a bird."
That's a bird, right?
"What's this?" "That's a bird."
Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's right.
That's why the Mac City Minute is, it's not actually a minute, because when in Fort McMurray does anything happen in a minute, right? So you get as long as you need to answer those questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, killing it on that one. Well, listen, man, the show is set amount of time for a reason, so you can come back again and again and again. I really did enjoy our conversation today, but we are out of time. But before I cut you loose, I need you to give a shameless shout out or plug. So you got the mic, the camera, the lights. Have fun.
Do you want me to plug myself or
100
Mac?
Yeah, 100, anything you want. I would, like, if you were running, I would plug yourself personally.
Yeah.
But, like, you can pick anything you want.
There's a vote coming December 4th, a nomination for UCP, who's going to represent Fort McMurray in the next general election. I'd shamelessly ask for your vote for that. appreciate being here. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. Well, my man, come back as many times as you want. As many times as you just message, let us know, and we'd love to have you back again and again and again. All right, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, the rest of the world, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me, so thank you. Big shout out to our title sponsor, Noral Toyota, as well as Carrie from Patchouli Rose. Thank you both for your ongoing support. Hope everybody at home is having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.